Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We're closer than we think. I'm loving where this is going. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $2.38 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 0.8%. Bitcoin, 61,200 plus right now, 2,900 plus for Ethereum here, and $110.8 billion plus market cap for USD Tether for the moment. And XRP is 50 cents, ladies and gentlemen, and we are off by 0.1% on the 24 and off by 4.2 on the 7-day. Let's see what the range of price is very quickly here. We are ranging between 51 and 52 cents here. And I want to let everybody know, you're going to want to check out Miles Franklin. We know that there are calls for gold to go to $3,000, $5,000. Should they be right, you may want to consider owning some gold. Now, we don't know if they will be right, but it's never a bad idea to own precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, they got it any way you want it here at Miles Franklin. All you have to do is email info@milesfranklin and put dig gold, D-I-G gold, in the subject box for the best prices, no doubt about it. Make sure you let them know I said to come on in. Yeah. And by the way, keep an eye out. I'm going to be having some influencers. You guys know I've done some interviews here lately. And shout out to Adam from XRP Cafe. Shout out to Blockchain Backer, who does not do interviews very often. But I was super proud and happy that he was able to sit down with us. We had such a great conversation at the XRP Las Vegas conference. And I just wanted to carry that over for the rest of the our audiences as well. So I really appreciate him doing that. And then I wanted to let you know that we will be sitting down very soon with Alan Staples. Now, if you don't know who Alan Staples is, boy, are you about to find out. Alan, I can't wait, and it was so great to talk to you and your wife on the phone. But I can't wait for us to get together and do a Friday morning show. And I'll have other influencers joining us as well periodically. It is going to be a lot of fun, just like you see we do with Andy Scheckman. And I can't wait for everybody to stop by the show. It's going to be so much fun. So keep an eye out for that week in review. Michael Brandt says in the latest development, the SEC has asked the court not to allow the exchange to appeal, talking about Coinbase's motion for interlocutory appeal and saying it should be rejected. Surprise, surprise, right? Coinbase is trying to stop everyone from fighting them so they can just win. Well, they're not going to stop fighting, and I hope that the SEC loses. And my goodness, where's the legislation we need? Well, hang in there. We may have some on the way. According to a recent filing, Wells Fargo holds a position in various Bitcoin ETFs. You can see the banks want in. They want in. And there's a reason they want in. And I think the reason they want in is because they know there's going to be a huge correction. A lot of banks are going to start failing, just like we've seen evidence of that over the last year or two. I think we're going to see even more of that happen. I'm not encouraging it. I don't want to see it. I'm just calling it the way I see it, right? And we'll have to see what happens. But I think these banks know that these ETFs are a chance to find some high ground, not only for themselves, but their clients and customers as we go through this transition of the monetary system. More evidence that we are going to go through a transition is right here. World central banks are buying 24 billion with a B in gold in just the last 3 months. This is why I'm telling you about Miles Franklin, because one of my core tenets is to stack my pennies next to their dollars. When I see the World Central Bank putting that much money into gold, I'm trying to accumulate some gold in my portfolio too. Obviously, I can't accumulate 24 billion, but I am going to do what I can, whether that's $24 or whatever. But I'm going to get it going, and that's what I've been doing with Miles Franklin, and you guys can too. So make sure you check that out as well. Now let's watch this, because there's a lot happening here, and we've covered this before, but it sets the tone for the information we're looking at today specifically. So behind the scenes of all of this gold buying by the central banks. There is a demand to tokenize this gold and real estate. And here you're going to hear Ripple Reese Merrick talk about exactly that, and doing so with HSBC and Medico, Ripple's custody solution. One of them.
Ripple acquired a company called Medico, Swiss-based custody solution who are serving, tier one banks globally. And the reason why is that a lot of these banks and large FIs are looking at how they can tokenize real world assets, but essentially don't have the tech behind it or don't have the capability to build or want to build to be able to actually have a custody solution that enables that safety for their customers. So HSBC is one example, largest bullion provider globally. They are now digitizing gold, and it's just to a subset of their customer base at the moment. But if a player like HSBC is coming into the market, tokenizing gold, as well as real estate and other kind of assets, then, on the front of it, one side they're saying, crypto, this, that, and the other. And it's clear that behind the scenes, as I mentioned earlier, they're looking at strategies, looking at the market opportunity, and actually believe that it's not just hype, that it's happening.
There you go. It's not just hype, it's happening. And we're going to see even more evidence of what's happening. Look at this now. I spoke to the idea that there's some legislation on the move, and legislation is on the move. The United States House Financial Services Committee will push a major legislative move towards the Financial Innovation and Technology Act, which is known, and to the 21st Century Act, known as the FIT 21, which will be debated on the floor session. So this is huge to get this out here, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, there's a couple different stablecoin bills, one in the Senate, one in the House, then we have the FIT 21. So look, there's a lot happening here. There's a Securities Clarities Act that Tom Emmer's proposed, but this is on the floor now. So we need to pay attention to what's going to happen to this now. And there is other things happening at the same time that this is happening. This is a reminder that payment giants Visa and MasterCard, as we covered over the weekend, are coming together with banks like JP Morgan, Citibank, and others to test a so-called regulated settlement network. We already know that there's RLNs, regulated liability networks, and this is huge because they're moving to that testing and knowing that this is going to be the way things get done in the future. That's what we're seeing here. Right? So it is coming in a very big way. More evidence of that here. As you can see, Paul Barron, shout out to Paul here, talking about how many partners that Ripple actually has. Take a look.
Here's the list of all Ripple partnerships. You can, of course, see all these different, man, this is this is crazy. But these are all, there's SBI Holdings right there, just bank after bank after bank after bank. I mean, there it is, guys. This is probably just what is in, the coffer right now versus the deals that they're probably working today to start to execute this even more. So
I think that's so well said right there by Paul. This is just the deals they have today. We don't even know about all. That's just what we know about, basically, is what he's saying. I think he's spot on. So look, I want you to imagine when we get that legislation, all those lists of hundreds and hundreds, and we know it's over 500 according to Ripple, going live, getting involved, getting on the precipice of going live, and then understanding, there's a reason that YouTube is the #1 app for videos, right? Podcasting, doing shows. There's other ones out here. There's even decentralized ones, but all the people are on YouTube. All the partners are on Ripple. They need legislative clarity and regulatory clarity. And when they get it, you're about to find out what is going on in this arena. Because the truth is that's what this is about. This whole thing is about blessing a handful of protocols that will be trusted, just the way the protocols we're using for the current experience on this internet we're using right now. No question about that. And here we see more evidence about preparing for where we're going in this space, and Ripple is doing exactly that. We know Medico working with HSBC to tokenize gold. They're one of the largest, if not the largest, bullion provider in the world. And here's Ripple's acquisition of Standard Custody and Trust Company strengthens its regulatory portfolio, enabling and securing digital asset custody services that could unlock $10 trillion in institutional crypto market by 2030. This is Katrin Kohler, head of custody product at Ripple.
Due to the increasing institutional adoption of digital assets, the digital custody market is becoming quite saturated, most commentators say. So how can Ripple stay ahead in this particular race?
Well, I see it probably a bit differently. I don't think the market is saturated at all. I do think the crypto market opportunity is quite large and even growing bigger as we speak, because major global institutional players are still leaning into crypto and developing quite heavily on it, especially thinking about fundamental infrastructure services like custody, payments, or also tokenization. The amount of crypto assets custodied is expected to reach about 10 trillion by 2030. Or if you think about it differently, for example, Northern Trust and HSBC anticipated that up to 10% of all financial assets will be tokenized by 2030. Wow. Most of this adoption will actually be driven by institutional players, and they will need a place to safely store and manage or orchestrate assets, and they need the technologies for that. And through custody, through the custody technology offering of Ripple, we will be able to provide those customers a tech stack where they can build on to actually bring their services then to market. And Ripple is quite well positioned as it is the leading enterprise solution provider in the space, with a very strong crypto DNA, but with also this very strong history of building with institutional players in the market.
There you have it. And look, you know, look, for any developer or builder in this space, I see nothing but a vast amount of opportunity about to make its way onto this network. When you factor in the hundreds and hundreds of partners, getting true regulatory clarity and legislative clarity is going to bring the ability for all of these partners to begin using the network in force, the way we all want to see happen. And what that is going to do is create a very, very special moment in time, because we're going to see that real applications start to reveal where there's still friction or problems with this new system. That is going to birth the things that we could never imagine that developers and builders are going to build to solve a problem for, that we yet don't know what it actually is. And until all of these massive behemoth institutions come off the sidelines, as was mentioned here by this Ripple VP, then we're not going to get that opportunity yet. But that's what I'm most excited for, is when those large institutions come out here, they are going to need more solutions than what they're prepared to deliver right now in the way of services. And you know how this works, right? There are going to be all kinds of issues created that need to be solved as pain points. And I think that is going to be a remarkable opportunity. And what will be a part of that Cambrian explosion of this protocol and others that have use case. Here we see, oh boy, Jason Cousins on stage at XRP Las Vegas, sitting beside Joe Endoso, the CEO of Link2. Good gracious day. This is a great conversation. I want you to hear every bit of it here. Take a listen.
But I do have an amazing piece of news, something that's completely blown me away. I was wondering whether I should even say anything about it today. Joe said, you have to. Di was like, come on, you've not even told me yet, Jason. But what is it you're looking for? And what are we all looking for? Wouldn't it be amazing if we had an official authorized currency that was stable and independent? If we had that choice, that's what we really want to have. The amazing thing about this country is that you're not the United Provinces of America. You are the United States of America. And your founders must have been inspired by something much higher than earthly forces, because what they put in place was quite incredible. And you've got something hidden in your constitution in plain sight, something which is really important for sound money. And I didn't know anything about it until August of last year, when I found out that glint had been mentioned in the proceedings inside the Texas Senate, where they were discussing transactional gold legal tender. And they said, if we pass this legislation, we are going to need a platform like glint. So I immediately got in touch with the guys and found, what's this all about? And they said, well, the US dollar is the currency of the United States, and only the federal government can declare something a currency. But in Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1 of the Constitution, it reinforces that by saying that no state can make a currency except gold and silver. Your Constitution says that individual states in this country can make gold and silver legal tender. Now, some of them have passed laws in the past. In 2011, Utah did it, but they really weren't suitable for electronic transactional gold. And what Texas was doing was make the first mover in trying to get transactional gold legal tender bills in place. They've already passed their legislation around having a gold depository. They've built it. They should have passed their legislation around the transactional gold element last year, but they got themselves into a problem when they tried to impeach their treasurer, and all legislation was kind of put on hold. But it is going to happen next year in Q1. And I was really excited about this. And I said, well, how can I help? And they said, well, you can help because you can show legislators how easy it is to work. By Christmas, there were 25 states, 25 US states considering working on drafting, even passing laws to do with transactional gold legal tender.
That is remarkable right there. I don't mind telling you, that is remarkable. And it speaks to why I'm in this space. Because everything for where I'm standing and why I'm even in this space is driven by the problem with the monetary system and the weakness in the printing of the US dollar. There's no question about it. That is exactly why I've been here. This is exactly the macro problem that needs to be fixed. And I find Ripple and XRP Ledger to be smack dab in the middle of this. And now Jason Cousins is too. Remarkable. 25 states looking at glint as actual money. And then you won't have capital gains on the gold you're using on the glint payment rails anymore. That would be remarkable. And at the same time, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse issues a major USD Tether warning. U.S. government is going after Tether. And he's right. I have played clips here of the testimony in senators talking about the illicit activity that has been used with using by proxy USD Tether to deliver funds from China to Russia to avoid U.S. sanctions. This is the second time that Brad Garlinghouse has brought up USD Tether. Take a quick listen for the recap.
Do I think there's going to be another black swan? Of course, 100%. I just don't know exactly what it is. The only one that's going to be an interesting one to watch, and I don't even know how he calls a black swan because I feel like black swan by definition can't really be like
predicted.
Oh, didn't see that happening.
Yeah.
The U.S. government is going after Tether. That is clear to me. I view Tether as a very important part of the ecosystem, and I don't know how to predict
the impact that will have on the rest of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Is it possible to take out Bitcoin, for instance? Like, do you think there's any sort of technological?
Now, he goes on to ask about Bitcoin. I wish he had stayed right there and asked that question about Tether. If you want to take out Bitcoin, all you got to do is take out Tether. You take out Tether and Bitcoin's going to crash. But then again, I have also offered the idea, well, if we watch Tether truly go the extreme and really be taken out and unwound, and Ripple launches their stablecoin, you could see that market cap of Tether push into USDC and Ripple stablecoin, potentially. But that would be a hard way to go, right? I mean, maybe it is Tether's forced to run on something like the XRP ledger or Stellar network, who knows, right? Where it has to be monitored because they never really set out to do AML and KYC in the beginning. So I don't know how you fix it other than put it on a network where it can be monitored properly. We know that Tether's under the capture of the Secret Service and FBI. We know that the Secret Service was an agency truly created to combat counterfeit money and counterfeiters. So, understanding that, Brad Garlinghouse for the second time has talked about the U.S. government coming after Tether, will they launch their own stable coin? Is the government already hijacked Tether and maybe they award Ripple to be the overseer of Tether? I don't know. Does Tether get to live and just simply this is the 5 things they need to do and now they just go on and back to business? Could be. I don't know. But I tell you what, I don't think all of this is happening for nothing. This I find to be incredible. When you take everything that we've looked at today and combine it all and understand that Ripple plans to leverage its stablecoin and existing real-world cross-border payments products alongside of XRP, enhancing the scalability, just the way I envision and have, or not envision, but just the way I envision this, the same way that I have watched what USD Tether has done for Bitcoin, the same way that I've watched what USDC has done for the growth of the Ethereum network and the Stellar network. So I see all of this as hugely positive. What this space truly looks like on the other side of this, I don't know. But we may find out sooner than we think. There's legislation being voted on by the end of this month, and we could know very soon what is going to happen with USD Tether. Will it remain? Will it stay? Will it be forced to rebrand? Will it be forced onto a protocol? I don't know. But I tell you what, something is definitely coming. Brad Garlinghouse has not mentioned this twice now for nothing, and that much I'm damn sure of. Let's look at this. Not financial advice from me or anyone else, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm about to take you into the Freedom Zone, and you're going to want to join us here because if you knew how the monetary system really worked, you'd really be upset right now. And we're about to give you an exclusive look of that right now inside the Freedom Zone. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Come on in. All right, welcome.